So, if you're a homeschool parent who uses Outschool, have you ever just felt completely overwhelmed? Well, you are definitely not alone. So many families struggle with the platform. But here's the thing, it turns out the problem might not be Outschool itself, it's all about how we're using it.
And yeah, using it the wrong way can get expensive fast. How expensive? $300. That's how much the author of our source material here actually spent before they figured out they were making a few, really basic mistakes. And it's a super common and frankly, a very expensive trap to fall into.
And this quote, man, it just gets right to the heart of that frustration, doesn't it? Spending all this money and just not seeing the results you hope for. But hey, the good news is there is a fix. And in this explainer, we're going to break down a whole new way to think about it, an approach that's going to save you time, money, and honestly, a ton of stress.
So what's the secret? It all comes down to one big shift in your mindset. You've got to stop being a reactive consumer and start becoming an intentional architect of your child's education.
Okay, take a look at this because it perfectly captures what we're talking about. On the left, you've got that classic consumer mindset, right? It's like treating Outschool as this giant marketplace, just filling up your shopping cart with tons of random, exciting looking classes. It's totally reactive. But on the right, that's the architect. That's a pegboard where every single tool has a very specific job. This is the goal. We want to use Outschool like a precision tool, deployed intentionally for specific tasks. And this matrix, this is basically our roadmap for how to get there. It breaks it all down. We're going to walk through 5 crucial shifts that cover everything from class volume and selection, all the way to your budget, how you track progress, and even how you see your own role in all of this. And trust me, getting this right is the absolute key to maximizing what you get back from every single class, your return on instruction, if you will.
All right, so let's dive into the playbook. Let's break down each of these 5 shifts one by one. Okay, shift number 1. This is probably the most common mistake of them all. Just plain overbooking. You know how it is. You first discover Outschool and it feels like this incredible buffet, and the temptation is just to pile that plate high with everything. Academic classes, fun enrichment stuff, social clubs, all of it. But what happens? It leads straight to cognitive overload for your kid, and eventually, total burnout. This cognitive load battery visual really shows what's going on inside your kid's brain. When you push them into, say, 5 to 10 classes a week, you're sending them straight into the red zone. Their ability to actually retain information plummets, and there's just no time left for them to learn on their own. The fix, though, is actually pretty simple, but it's super powerful. Start with a really strict limit, just 1 to 3 classes a week. See how they do. Check their engagement, their energy levels, and only then do you even think about scaling up, and you do it intentionally. All right, shift number 2 is all about how you choose classes. It is so easy to get pulled in by the flashy themes, right? You see a class about a popular movie or video game and you think, perfect. But this is a classic trap. See, fun gets you to click enroll, but it's the quality of the teaching that actually gets you results. Just look at this comparison here. On the left, you've got something like Harry Potter Math Adventure. I mean, it sounds super fun, right? But look closer. The description is vague, and the reviews are all just, my kid had fun. That, my friends, is a red flag. Now look at the right, Math Foundations. It might not sound as exciting, but it has crystal clear learning outcomes, a structured plan, and reviews that actually talk about teacher interaction and how much the student understood. That is the green flag you're looking for. So, from now on, before you even think about enrolling, you need to become a detective looking for these green flags. Are there clear goals? Is there a structured sequence to the class? You've got to dig into those reviews. Do they talk about the teaching itself or just the theme? And try to figure out if the teacher is actually engaging with the kids, asking them questions, or if they're just talking at them for an hour. Because remember, a truly amazing teacher can make any topic absolutely incredible. Okay, shift number 3. Let's talk about the money, because this is a big one. The single biggest financial regret most parents have is that reactive spending, enrolling in a class just because it looks interesting without any real plan. And that's what leads to that awful feeling of, wow, I've spent a lot of money, but what do we actually have to show for it? So how do you break that cycle? You use what our source calls a pre-enrollment triage. It's basically a little checklist. Before you click that enroll button, you have to stop and answer 3 questions. Number 1, what specific gap in their learning is this class meant to fill? Number 2, what exactly is the outcome I expect? And number 3, is this a core subject or is it an extra enrichment class? If you can't give a clear answer to all three of those, you just don't enroll. It's as simple as that. Now, this next shift is so important. You have to understand that Outschool gives you access to the instruction, but it does not handle progress tracking. That part is on you. And if you skip it, a really dangerous gap can form. See, learning isn't just about being exposed to information. Your kid has to actively process it and be able to recall it. Otherwise, that info just vanishes. So you need to create this learning loop at home. The Outschool class is step 1, exposure. Then comes the processing. And finally, you provide the measurement. So how do you do that? With a really simple home loop system. After every single class, make it a rule that your child has to explain to you what they learned. Here's a key tip. If they can't explain it, they probably didn't really learn it. Then you can review any work they did and keep a simple little notebook just to track their progress. It doesn't have to be complicated. And that brings us to our fifth and final shift. And this one is all about mindset. You have to fight that temptation to see Outschool as some kind of magical, hands-off replacement for your role as the homeschool parent. It's an amazing tool, for sure, but it is not a full-service solution. This Venn diagram really just says it all, doesn't it? Outschool provides this incredible engine, that's the platform instruction. But real long-term mastery, that only happens in that sweet spot where it overlaps with at-home reinforcement. Think of it this way. Outschool is the car, but you, the parent, are still the one driving it. You're the one who has to connect with their learning in that class back to your bigger homeschool goals. You're the one who makes sure it all actually sticks. Okay, so we've covered all 5 shifts. Now, let's pull this all together into a simple operating system that you can literally start using today. Just think of it like this control panel. To make Outschool work for you, you just have to make sure these 5 switches are always flipped to on. First, cap your classes at 1 to 3 per week. Second, audit the teacher for substance, not just for a flashy theme. Third, give every single dollar you spend a specific job. Fourth, make that post-class review a non-negotiable habit. And finally, remember that these classes are supplements, not replacements. The bottom line is really clear. Outschool is only as good as the strategy you bring to it. And all of this really brings us to one final and I think crucial question you have to ask yourself. When it comes to how you use tools like Outschool for your family, is your homeschool strategy reactive or is it intentional?